Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about Goro Akechi from Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal mainly though. Let's get into it. I'm going to analyse his character and kind of what makes him tick and his ideology. I have heard people call Akechi an edgelord, which I can kind of understand, but they definitely put their effort into looking into his character and ideology enough. I'm in no way stating that Akechi is a perfect character, but I'm just pointing out that he works really well for the thing he does in the story, and that he's a great foil to the main character. And this was especially hard before Persona 5 Royal was released, as we didn't really get to see too much of him and his true self other than a single fight, where the way he acted didn't make a lot of sense. But after Persona 5 Royale and the new festivals added, it really clears up a lot about him and helps put all the puzzle pieces together. One of the factors to understanding Akechi's character, which the game literally shows you, is his persona and all-out attacks. Hello everyone, I hope you're still watching the video, and if you are, really appreciate it if you could just like and subscribe. I know I'm a new channel, I don't have many subs, but it's free. If you like the content I'm putting out right now, it'll only get better. Subscribers like you will let me improve my overall stuff, including my mic. So please drop down and subscribe and a like, that'll really help me out. He is in the story from almost the very beginning, but he doesn't as a criticizer of the main group, the Phantom Thieves, but he does not actually fully join them until at Palace, where he joins the main group to take on a corrupt prosecutor. But after she is taken out, the Phantom Thieves must disband, making him kind of somehow a member of the Phantom Thieves, but also the one that wants to bring us undoing. So, at this point in the story, when we first see his all-out attack, he is masquerading as one of the good guys. And that shows in his all-out attack, which, like he acts in the story, is what he actually believes in, but he doesn't give you the full picture. His all-out attack states, "My sole interest is uncovering the truth," which you would assume because he's trying to take down a corrupt prosecutor who's arresting people for things they didn't even do, which is becoming especially relevant in today's day and age. So Akechi's first persona as well is Robin Hood. It's a great representation of Akechi's facade and character. His persona looks a bit like a stereotypical superhero, showing off how he portrays himself to the public as an honourable hero of justice. But it also gives you a great hint into why Akechi joined the Phantom Thieves. Akechi joins, like Robin Hood, who committed crimes for the act of a greater good. Akechi he was never a member of the Phantom Thieves properly. He only joined the Phantom Thieves to do what he believed as an evil action, in order for the greater good action of eventually taking them out and even defeating Shido. And defeating Shido, and then after that reforming the world. It's a really interesting thing which you don't realise until you see it on second viewing. But then after Sai, Sai's boss is defeated, Akechi, the main character, is defeated for seemingly no reason. And we learn that he was betrayed by Akechi. A lot of antics happen here. Akechi attempts to kill the main character in his prison cell. They trick him in the next fight, which the main character is believed to be their last, against Shido, who is a very corrupt politician, and Akechi appears this time. And we learn that throughout the story, even before the story happened, we learned about several things called mental shutdowns, which was just people randomly just fucking losing all sense of themselves and causing accidents. Train drivers, even the principal of your own school. But in this part, he refuses to help the main characters defeat Shido, even though he has the same goal as them, to defeat the corrupt politician. And the heroes repeatedly try and reason with him, but he just refuses. We are then shown his second persona, and it's Loki. This teaches us a lot about Akechi, and I don't know how intentional this was, but I think it is. It teaches us the way he's a manipulator and all that. But the main thing it teaches us about Akechi is that Loki is a god, but also the son of a frost giant. Gods and frost giants in Norse mythology do not get along, reflecting how Akechi was a member of the Phantom Thieves, but the son of one of their greatest villains, Shido. So yeah, we then learn the central tenet to Akechi's character, which we can then use to understand a lot about him, but it also explains all his actions throughout the story, and that is the idea of truth and justice. Like with Shido, he and the Phantom Thieves has the same goal, to defeat the man. As we then learned in his second all-out attack, he decides the truth, showing that even if he has the same common goal as someone, he won't do it. This will simply allow him to defeat his enemy. And Akechi's way of handling it just involved the killings of so many innocent lives, but Akechi believed in his heart that it was the best way of going about it. Then we learned that Akechi is the wild card, meaning he can summon any persona he wants in the game, but Akechi only summons 2, which reflects how he didn't develop any friendships with anyone like Yules, the main character, did. He didn't go on some selfless journey, he just stuck to his own ideals, which never let him separate, which never gave him more. Akechi, after he loses the fight with the main cast, is on the verge of death, and is then confronted by Shido's shadow version of him. And this breaks Akechi. This is just a simple... Shido just used him as a simple tool. Hitman, which he can just do whatever he wants. Akechi thought he tricked Shido. He thought he got the man to trust him, and finally managed to get some of the approval from his own father back. But it was just his tool. And how he manipulated the Phantom Thieves, the only people that actually began to care about him. He is then killed, and we then get an amazing arc to Akechi's character, where he learns to compromise on his own justice. He sacrifices himself in order for Shido to be defeated by the Phantom Thieves, compromising all his own ideals, his own truth, his own justice, in order to protect them. This is such a powerful scene, and it's the last time we see him in Persona 5. Alright, so this part, I think Akechi's character was summed up, and I think you can understand all you need to get from him from that little moment. But then we then get another spin put on it during the 3rd semester, where Dr. Maruki, who was also an amazing villain, who I probably will talk about, resurrects all that have died to try and rid the world of all grief and trauma. But Akechi was resurrected from this as well. And the most interesting thing about him is his idealism and benefit and beliefs really reach its pinnacle as he gets the main character and encourages him to fight Maruki, due to the fact that he is they are in total opposites. Maruki wanting to change what the truth is in order to help others, while Akechi wishes for his own truth. Even though if he defeats Maruki, he knows he's going to die, but he doesn't really give a shit. And it's also kind of tragic as we see Akechi during this time planning his fight against Maruki, and not even trying to mend the relationships with the Phantom Thieves, who do still care for him, and he knows that from Ryuji's kindness towards him. Doesn't even try and apologize to Haru, he just keeps going on this path of destruction. But this shows us a lot about him. He'll never be able to be a normal person. He is the central tenet to his character, I believe, was he is at the same time Sherlock Holmes and James Moriarty. He's the serial killer, but also the detective, and those conflicting sides of him get better of him. He only stays alive for justice, so it doesn't matter to him if he dies. Then Akechi's death is one of the most sad. His second death is probably one of the most sad in the story, as he just vanishes from existence, only being remembered by the Phantom Thieves. Everyone else just forgetting about him. It was just the genius detective boy who just up and disappeared. If he is going to be remembered, he'll just be as a violent criminal, not as a man that fought against, not against a man who fought for his own ideals to the very end. was selected by the god Yaldabaoth to defeat the main character. The main cast of the Phantom Thieves fought for the goal of to change the hearts of the corrupt from society, as they believed it was an inherently good society with good people, while Akechi has the opposite belief, believing the world is corrupt in its nature, and there's only a few good people in it, which he views the main character as being, and he wants to totally reshape the whole system for his own version of truth. But this even would mean sacrificing the free will of its people, but he doesn't care. And he doesn't care about how many people he must kill. But then he gets his second chance as he goes and teams up with Joker and realizes who he is. And then, as he becomes a great person, as he begins to hold himself by an ideal against Ricky. You could even see him and Ricky as having similar goals, wanting to reshape the whole society instead of taking out the bad elements. As Akechi learns that people's trauma and hate is important to them as people, even though Akechi has suffered through so much, I probably would benefit from this more than any other character. If he got his mother back, if he got brought back to life, if Shida was a good father to him, he'd be a much happier person. Akechi doesn't do that. Akechi fights to stop the rechanging of society, something which he so gladly fought for, and stands next to the main character by his side. I believe this is the tragedy of Goro Akechi. He is a man stuck between two identities, a serial killer and a detective, someone who fights for the truth but at the same time wish to change all of society, a man who doesn't know who he is. That's what makes Akechi so powerful to me. I can relate so deeply to him as a character. Although I've never been fucked over as badly as he is, but I've wanted to get revenge on people that have wronged me, and people like Akechi teach you why you can't just seek for revenge against those you want, and you can't inflict more pain on people than they even deserve. Even if they do deserve it, you shouldn't hurt. You should just learn to be the better person. I think this is the beauty of Goro Akechi's character. Goodbye. And hey,